Hi everybody, it's Sandy Putsch, and I am just in the middle of a tour, but I thought I'd jump in. I haven't been able to do photo critiques for a while, so I'm going to jump in and give you a few opinions here. First of all, I want to thank Wes for showcasing his work. This is a critique you were doing of your wife's grandparents, and I love that you said they don't do PDA, public displays of affection, very well, and at their ages I can see why. They're definitely from that generation that wasn't too cuddly. But I'm going to go through your images and kind of give you an idea of what my thoughts are. Now, obviously, when working with elderly people, it's hard because mobility is an issue. They're not as comfortable. Even simple things like sitting on a chair or a hard surface can be a discomfort. So, of course, finding ways to pose them comfortably can be a little bit of an issue. Now, the first image, you have the two of them together, and you've got her seated on a nice lawn chair, and you have her husband behind her. Your heads are not stacked, which is good. They're just slightly off, but they could almost he could almost be a little bit further to the side. A couple things, just real simple. At the bottom of the picture, you can see we've cropped her feet off. That's kind of a situation where you either need to keep the feet in or crop it a little higher, maybe even all the way to her waist, because we never want to amputate anywhere on a joint, so a wrist or an ankle would not be a place to amputate. Otherwise, I like the choice of black and white. Little details make me crazy, like even that little string on the chair that's not tied. I would have tucked that into the chair because it's really distracting. Your eye is really drawn to that. But otherwise, this is a nice, clean, simple portrait. And it's in a natural light situation. A scrim would have been awesome because it would have created shadow detail. It would have blocked that light on the top of his head, as well as brought more detail out in their hair. But honestly, in an outdoor situation like that, sometimes it's kind of difficult to do that. I'm going to go through a few more of them. The next one is you have her seated in the chair. She's continued to be on the chair in color this time. It looks nice. I think it's the pose of the hands is a very posed hand scenario. In other words, it seems very formal to have the hands sort of in that position, and a little elbow lean on the chair, something to break that up so it's not quite so formal. Would be nice, but again, at her age and comfort level, you definitely have done a nice job. Great expression. She seems happy, and that's really important. The next image is just a headshot of the grandfather. A couple things I'm going to mention. If you look at the catchlight in his eye, he has, as we age, our eyelids start to droop, and he has a little bit of a drooping eyelid. So you're missing a catchlight in one of the eyes. And honestly, with images like this, these are not fashion shoots. These are real people, people who are loved very much. A couple things, just little details like adding that catchlight. If you can't get it in there because of the drooping eyelids, you can put it in later so there's a little more sparkle in the eyes. The other thing that I'd recommend is moving your subject away from those trees a little bit more so that they're not so obvious back there. Of course, all those leaves, you can count every one, and it seems to be a little bit distracting. I would love to see that out of focus longer telephoto lens, or moving your subject away would be a great choice there. But a very handsome shot and a very handsome fellow. Now we have a couple shot here, and this is one of those almost snapshot type shots where they're not super close together, they're not traditionally posed, but you know what, this is a nice shot, and I would say more than anything, the expressions are what sell this. First of all, you've got both of them wearing glasses, and you don't have a huge problem with glass glare, so that's good, because in an outdoor situation, you can't always control glass. But the really nice thing is they both look genuinely happy, and this is one of those shots that for 100 years, grandchildren will be looking at this and reflecting on who these folks were. So nice job. And then the final image here is the two of them also in a more traditional pose. This one I don't like as much. The cropping is so much better on the previous one with the horizontal orientation, eliminating her baggy shirt and that white from there. His fingers are coming around the side. So honestly, the two great expressions again, but the other one is much more portrait quality than this one. I think the cropping and orientation of this one is a little off. And then finally, you've got another 4 images down below. The image of her alone with the pink flowers, I'm sure you were going here to get those flowers in that vibrant color, but the lighting is pretty tough. You can see on her shoulders in shadow. Her face has very specular lights plus a lot of shadow. It must be under a tree, or it looks almost like there's a lot of things going on and it's causing a lot of shadow. You can see shadows from her glasses. The light is coming from up above. There's no catch lights in her eyes. The light is too high. The good news is you didn't blow it out. Her hair detail, especially being white hair, is there, but just keep that in mind. If it's a tough lighting situation, I would say, in spite of the flowers, I would move somewhere a little more flattering for her features. Our next image is of the grandfather. The same thing. It looks like you're trying to get those flowers in the water behind, but ultimately, tough lighting, shadow on one side, bright sun on the other. You're at least not overexposed, but no catch lights in the eye. The light is coming to the top of the head, and we're not really getting that expression. So I definitely think the lighting you used earlier was much more flattering. We're just about done. We have sort of an old-time sepia portrait. This definitely has that reflection of being an image taken a long time ago. So for that look and that feel, ironically, they don't look happy here. They seem a lot more serious, and as opposed to the smiley images. So this almost does have a feel of like this was taken 100 years ago when everybody had to sit still. So it's one of those kind of little details, that I would change. The grandfather's hand that's on the chair alone is, you can see the back of the hand. We never want to photograph that side of the hand, but this is just a more editorial shot, and it just showcases that old-time feel. Not my favorite, but definitely interesting to look at. And then you have the same thing in color. I would say the same thing. The expressions are off, so I just don't feel like these grandparents in this image look as warm and as fuzzy and as cuddly as the image that you had taken before. And again, as you said, the PDA, the getting them to hug and cuddle, number one, it's not generationally where would be natural to them, and number two, at their body stages, they're not, it's hard, it's uncomfortable to do that. So I think you've done a great job. I think these are great memorials to these folks, and I think that the families will love them. Some of them are definitely stronger than others, but I see you're trying, and that's wonderful. So for the rest of you, if you're interested, you can go to Sandy Quich University, and you can see the images and check out what we're doing. Otherwise, have a great day.